troops deployed in the capital will now be armed and authorized to carry out local law enforcement duties. His justification? A single post on social media calling the move common sense. And Trump himself is making clear this deployment may not end anytime soon. In fact, he's floated keeping troops in D.C. indefinitely and even suggested other cities could soon be next.
I mean, I keep seeing about a 30-day deadline, of which we have 22 days left or something. But if I think we're in great shape here, that's one thing. But if I don't, I'm going to just say it's a national emergency. And if I have a national emergency, I can keep the troops there as long as I want. When we're ready, we'll go in and we'll straighten out Chicago, just like we did D.C. Chicago is very dangerous, great place. I built great stuff there. I have the most beautiful building in Chicago, I think. But I hate to see what's happened to Chicago.
Miles Taylor, Kimberly Atkins-Storer, and Paul Butler are back with us. You know, also in that, the president said that he was going to floating using the regular military to tackle crime. He's talking about Chicago, and in it, he says the people in Chicago are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats just like this. They're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. As the beautiful African-American lady on our panel, Kimberly, I want to go to you first because this isn't about crime, right? If it was about crime, there are actually things that you can do to tamp down crime, right? There are things in the DMV, the Baltimore Mayor has done to tamp down crime in his city. And I guess what does it say that we are in a time where the president is just saying, I might send the regular military to come into Washington, D.C. or to go to Chicago, and it doesn't seem like the sirens are going off in the country. Yeah, so on the legal sort of front of this, there is a principle, posse comitatus, there's a law, Posse Comitatus Act, which states that military should not be used in a law enforcement capacity against American citizens. The reasons for that ought to be obvious. When you see that sort of militarized control by a government, I've seen that in places like Beijing. That's not what democracy is. They're also not trained for that. My dad wasn't in the military. That is not their mission. Right. It is not the mission of the military, which I think you've seen a lot of issues here, not just with people not understanding what their mission is, but a chain of command. When everybody's claiming to be in control, it actually makes a city less safe. But as you said, it has nothing to do with that. Donald Trump has had a bugaboo about American cities for years, but you can go all the way back to his time in New York when he claimed, and still won't let go today, that the exonerated five, the four children who were charged in that horrific Central Park attack, he insists that they are guilty, and he insists that they should still be jailed at this point. He put out the full-page ad about them wanting to, they should be getting the death penalty. This has been something about Donald Trump in American cities, particularly American cities that have large black populations, that he has wanted to assert some control. And he's using D.C. because he has a little bit more leeway because of the federalization of the city in so many ways, the congressional control that's here to sort of run a dry run of what he wants to see carried out in American cities. As somebody who is here, who lives here, who is a taxpayer in Washington, D.C., what he could have done if he cared about crime was release more than $1 billion in funding that Congress is still holding up, that can go to things like public safety, that can go to things like hiring more cops, which Trump said he does not want to do. He's not even good at hiding the subterfuge of all of this, and that's what seems so dangerous to me, because we are seeing militarized people show up at the homes of black people and harass them for doing nothing but living and existing in their lives, and that's what Trump wants.
When Mayor Bowser was here on the show, the day before Trump said he was going to send the National Guard here, she said, Paul, I want 500 more police officers. If the president were serious, if Republicans were serious about crime in Washington, they would give her the money, the $1.1 billion that they snatched from the district in the CR, but they would give her the money for 500 cops, not $2 billion like the president's asking for grass, wherever he wants to put it in the city. But the thing here that is most concerning to me, aside from ordering the National Guard to have weapons, to allow them to carry weapons, what it says about this now becoming a militarized capital city, National Guard having weapons, how concerned should the American people be that, yeah, what's going to happen here is going to be spread elsewhere, but the idea that a militarized capital where the president, I mean, he already has immunity.
That's right.
What else could he do with a militarized capital?
So we have to be extremely concerned about that, not about the grass and parks that the president went on a long riff about yesterday, like he's in charge of parks and recreation. He's the damn president. But because he's the president, he can claim this emergency power over the National Guard. We know there's nothing he loves to do more than to claim an emergency. He used that to do terrorists. He used that to try to deport people who are here without documents, without due process. And he will do that to bring the National Guard into cities with black mayors. This is his fever dream, his boots on the ground fever dream. The president will control armed agents used to patrol United States citizens.
Miles, I want to bring you in the short time that we have left with not an easy question, but hopefully a short one. How worried are you about martial law? And when have we hit that benchmark, right? Because martial law is essentially the military doing functions that they're not usually supposed to do, whether it's legislative or taking over police forces or judiciary.
I think, Eugene, we are trending that direction very, very quickly. And I've said it before, I'll never forget the fact that I was with you guys on June 8th when we got the news that LA was going to have troops deployed. And at the time I said, this is the start of a military crackdown on the United States. And of course, a bunch of people said to me, not you all, a bunch of people said, well, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. But here we are. We're talking about the third U.S. city that Donald Trump is going to deploy troops in. Martial law is the concern we should have over the balance of this administration.